Hi, everybody. It's so great to be with you once again for the latest episode of Get on the Grid with Chessie Roberts. My guest this time is a returning guest. It's Phillip Collins, and he and I would like for you to please join with us in aligning with the energies of co-creation so that this show gives you the best information to your highest good and best outcome. So welcome, Phillip. It's wonderful to have you back on the show.
It's great to be back here. I follow what you're doing in social media all the time, and it's wonderful to connect live when we can both do that.
Oh, absolutely. For those of you who may not know Phillip, he brings a multi-dimensional background into being one of the co-founders of the Angel News Network and founder of the Modern Day Ministry School as a teacher, life coach, author, and poet. And he tells us that each one of us, every one of us, comes to this world with a divine plan, a reason, and a purpose to be here. And he channels Archangel Uriel, right?
Yeah, and a whole lot of other ones, too.
Well, I understand that we might have some visitors on the show besides just you, so I'm really excited for us to get started. We're going to talk about unprecedented ascension energies that are coming down into the planet, how they started and why they're here and all that kind of thing. So I'm really excited for us to get started. Yeah. So, Phillip, I'm just going to stop talking and let you talk to the folks, okay?
Okay, great. And by the way, it's a Modern Day Mystery School, not the Ministry School. I just wanted to clarify that. That school doesn't exist anymore, but we had a wonderful almost 10-year run of bringing a lot of light into the world. And my colleagues on the Angel News Network are Jeff Asano, who's based in Los Angeles, and Joel Anastasia, who's just moved down to Southeast Florida, where I am, from New York City as well. So I am a channel, a conscious channel of frequencies. They are archangelic, they are inner earth, they are star seed, they are ascended masterships. And we have a bi-monthly gathering at the Center for Spiritual Living in Fort Lauderdale, and we do it on teleconference as well, where I go into trance and Jeff goes into trance, and they bring in a message, and then they open it up to Q&A, which I'm very thankful for, because as our students and our audiences have the opportunity to ask questions, specific questions for themselves, or ask if there's a message for them, it integrates the teaching. So today I am going to, how much time do we have today, Chessie?
We've got an hour, no interruption.
Okay. I'm going to first bring in from Archangel Uriel a teaching that they are calling the Year of the Starseed 2016. And if we have another...
Before we start,
Pardon?
I have a question. Would you please
Sure.
enlighten me and anybody else who's as confused as I am, what exactly is a starseed?
Well, that's going to all be...
But I don't know what it is.
Let them explain that, but what a starseed is an individual who knows which of the 12 star systems that see this planet they're from. But I think that's going to be all explained in this message, and absolutely I will pause as I go into trance for you to ask questions such as that if it's not already answered. So just take notes as to what's being said, and there's something that's not explained, they will pause and you'll have an opportunity to ask a question or a clarification. But the second thing I'll do, if we have enough time, is I can connect with the Council of Archangelic Realms. The Council of Archangelic Realms called CAR, C-A-R, and they would like to bring in a message on being multidimensional, which is happening as a result of the star seed activation. So I'm just going to go into trance, and then we're going to let them speak, these 5D frequencies, and allow you to ask any questions that you need along the way, because they will pause. You remember the last time we did this, that's what they do. They pause and they allow you to ask a question during their teaching or at the end of it. So just give me one moment. I usually do this fairly quickly. It just depends on the ley line activations of the planet. Here we go. Greetings, beloved humans, being human. We come to you from the Archangelic Realm of Uriel. We are a world teachership that has been with you since the inception of this planet and your choice being here. At this auspicious time within your evolutionary process of ascension, we come to you in your year of 2012, in your second month leading into your third month, and we are calling this the Year of the Starseed 2016. Beloved humans, As many of you know, this beautiful planet Earth was seeded by 12 different star systems, bringing the highest qualities of each star system into your earthly plane. Dear ones, you are a grand experiment of learning to love, the love-aversity of the universe. Your planet at present is within the final 2,000-year cycle, which began in 2012, to ascend into a higher state of vibration, thus consciousness. It is your divine destiny to evolve into we consciousness, a unified field, in order to create a new world paradigm of equality, harmony, and balance. This is a personal process of inside out, not outside in, dear ones. No matter how the outside world may appear in upheaval and chaos, clearing and cleansing itself at present, this ascension process is taking place for those of you who choose it through your freedom of choice and will, by healing the relationship with self, allowing self to be a reflection of all that there is. Dear one, are there any questions about what we have just spoken before we continue?
No. Please continue.
This year 2016, began with an unprecedented force of higher realm star energies to support the above process. Now, within each month of this year, like never before, each one of the 12 star systems that seeded your planet will be firmly present to further support your ascension process. This message will be a recap of the first 2 months, January and February, later being followed by the other months and their respective star systems as your year calendar unfolds and the star energies and the ley lines upon your planet further integrate. We shall monthly be reviewing star systems such as Arcturian, Lyrian, Bootes, Orion, Aquarius, Andromeda, and some yet unknown systems to be revealed, dear ones. We shall review each month as it is revealed from the higher realms perspective. Before we begin by star seeding January and February, let us briefly discuss what being human as a star seed, what being a human star seed in effect, and a light worker and a way short really means, dear ones. You have already asked this question, haven't you? Star seeds are those of you who presently reside on planet Earth, but know within your higher self that your origins are not from this planet. Star seeds often have a connection with the star seed from which they came. Light workers, way showers, are those on Earth that will tend to be star seeds whose sole plans includes, through their talents and gifts, accomplishing higher good work of the universal infinite intelligence and spreading that applied knowledge into wisdom and acceptance of the innate positive powers of humans and other higher realms possess. Light workers, way showers, are most often star seeds due to your inherent need to find the positive powers of the universe and to share them. This allows teachings of the powers that manifest eternal good. You light workers and way showers' main mission is to teach others that there is a different force than the ones currently being experienced through the densities of humanity. You know the present state of humanity is a teaching tool, dear one, allowing you to evolve, transcend, transmute into a higher state of being. So those of you who know you are star seeds, will, or at present, are gathering and gyrating and pulsating towards teaching the universal truths of light workers and way showers, intending the betterment, the improvement of humanity, until you unite, ascend into oneness with we ourselves and the star worlds from which you came, dear one. That is a magnificent journey that you are involved in at this time and had been ever since you came to this planet. The initial monthly descriptions will present a brief explanation of what is happening and why within the intention, dear ones, of not overloading you with too much information. For those of you who wish to have more information about star systems and star seeds, please know this is available through your cyberspace, a gift that we, of the Angelic Realm of Uriel gifted you to free you from your 3D world. You live in the 3D world of your emotions, your thoughts, and your physicality. Cyberspace that we gifted to humanity is an Ethernet, a 4D frequency to free you from the 3D. But it's what is happening with it, which is often the case with humanity, it is becoming corrupted. So we ask you to become aware of that and realize this is a gift from we of the higher realms to free you from yourselves. Allow no one to take it away from you if you so choose, dear ones. Let us talk about January. January. This is the influence of the Sirius star system. The first 2 weeks of the new year, creating a new you and a new world paradigm, have been filled with the Sirius star energies. Sirius is the brightest star within your heavens, and has often been called the stargate of your world, since it has always played a major role in earthly evolutionary and galactic history, dear ones. Many of your past advanced civilizations, such as Lemuria, Atlantis, or early Egypt, contained crystal vibrational energies from Sirius. These energies brought social structure and wisdom that allowed the construction of powerful electromagnetic energy plants such as the Great Pyramids throughout your planet. These assertive masculine energies, in effect, are causing a change being felt throughout your emotional, mental, and physical bodies. Throughout the entire month of January, many of you felt this. If you go back and remember things that were happening within your lives, personally and collectively, you will see what upheaval was created during that month. Now let us move into the month of February, which is Palladian star energy. The assertive Sirius energies began to lift a bit in February as the gentler Palladian energies arrived in your month of February, the month of love, the month of your Valentine, allowing human believing mental bodies to move more into service to the knowing hearts. We shall repeat that, dear ones. Allowing the human believing mental body to move more into service to your knowing hearts. That's what's taking place, dear ones. You're healing the erroneous belief systems within your minds to connect with your knowing hearts, the DNA within your knowing hearts, which contain all the information you need to ascend. The Palladian energies have perfected the expression of unconditional love and equality, balance, and harmony, reflecting within self and outpicturing into society as a whole. These energies allow the balance of the emotional, mental, and physical bodies transmuting into multi-dimensionality. What this particular channel, this divine soul, is doing and being by connecting with the higher frequencies is the divine plan of all of you. You're all destined to be multidimensional, to be able to experience 3D, 4D, and 5D simultaneously and eventually evolving permanently into 3D. This Palladian energy is more feminine, while the Sirius energy is more masculine, as we have stated. The peace and sharing focus of this energy is all about healing the past and the present, allowing the focus on the present. The presence of this energy and all other star energies throughout this year is facilitating the genetic transmuting of the human DNA and the chakras from carbon-based reality to the crystalline light. Let us dwell on this a bit more. So with the activation of these star energies month by month in this unique year of 2016, you are transmuting your human DNA, which has been corrupted in your past, and having it elevated into your spiritual DNA. This affects your chakras, your 7 chakra systems, which are now be activating up to 12 to reflect each of the star systems that seeded your planet. In effect, moving from carbon-based reality to crystalline. And that's what is exactly the process of the ascension process of the planet. You, upon the body of the planet, and those of you within it in higher frequencies, are experiencing that as well. You're matching the frequencies step by step, month by month in this case, of moving from carbon-based to your crystalline light bodies. So in effect, your planet is becoming a star, is becoming a sun. So everything upon and within the planet will be of that same light-bodied frequency. We hope you understand this. You will receive what will be happening in March as the ley lines are activated and completed and networked, which will happen in the next few days. So let us pause and see if there are any questions about what we have revealed to you at this time. How may we help you, dear one?
Thank you. Could you please explain ley lines for those who may not know what they are?
There are energetic portals, vortices, openings throughout your planet. Some of you may have known names such as Sedona or Mount Shasta. These are portal openings that frequency out through a network to other vortices, which they are of, an energetic network which is connected to the crystal core of the planet, which is facilitating the higher vibrational, the higher conscious movement of the ascension process of the planet, thus all humanity upon the planet. Does that help you, dear one?
Yes, thank you. Please proceed.
Are there any questions or further explanations that you need about the year Starseed 2016? This is new information that is being disseminated to humanity at this time for you to begin to understand. Much of humanity will be connecting to the star realm they came from initially, to begin to understand the responsibility and the input that those systems had coming together to create what is called planet Earth, the love-aversity of the universe. You all signed on through a human contract an extraordinary endeavor called planet Earth, which is affecting not only your solar system and galaxy, but the universe at large, factoring out into the multiverse. So it is a divine, precious moment for all of you. No matter what is happening outside in your world, through the upheaval and the chaos that you all are experiencing, and all of your systems, be they governmental, religious, educational, financial, medical, however they may be, this is all a clearing and cleansing that's taking place. Remember, dear ones, the process is within you, self being a reflection of all that there is. It is an individuated choice through your freedom of choice and freedom of will to select or decide to be a part of this at this time or not. As we have stated, your final 2,000-year cycle or transmutation into your light bodies began in 2012. There were many of you that thought that 2012 was going to be the end of the world. It wasn't the end of the world. It was the end of the world as you have known it, to move into this new paradigm of higher frequency, weak consciousness, unified field of energy. Are there any questions about this, dear one?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we will conclude this teaching at this time if there are no other questions, and give the channel that we're coming through an opportunity to connect with another frequency for another teaching for this particular endeavor.
Thank you.
Are we complete, dear one?
Yes, thank you, and bright blessings.
You're welcome, dear one. Okay, I am back. So
that was remarkable.
Well, remarkable is the new normal, and I think
I'm learning that.
I think what we're all learning is that to realize that these frequencies have been connecting with humanity since the beginning of humanity, and of course they assisted in building the 6 previous golden ages, be they Lemurian, Atlantean, Egyptian, Greece, Aztec, Mayan, Hopi, whatever. And as we're going into this final 7th golden age, we're being asked to evolve as a species in order to maintain a permanent connection to these frequencies, because what caused the demise of these past advanced civilizations was that the human mind thought it could do a better way. So through the freedom of choice and freedom of will that we have as human beings, these higher realms said, fine, go for it. and we can see what happened as a result of that. So what we're evolving into is a permanent connection to the higher realms to support us from whence we came in order to facilitate the ascension process of the planet.
Well,
I think most of your audience probably has a pretty good working knowledge of ascension, don't you think?
I would imagine that most of them do. I do have a question at this time, if you don't mind. I have heard a lot about this particular topic, and I really like the way that it's presented here because it actually makes sense. But one of the things that I have heard is that every single person on the planet has to evolve into this higher elevated frequencies, or nobody moves on to the next dimension. Is this erroneous, or am I?
That is not accurate. It's not accurate.
Okay, that's what
each individual has a unique soul and a unique soul plan, and they will evolve at their own pace. Now, those of us who choose not to evolve within the final cycle will be given an opportunity to do that elsewhere. And by elsewhere, I mean on another planet within this galaxy, or another galaxy, or another solar system. One not doing it will not hold the others up. And a good example of that, Chessie, are the ascended masters who are very active in supporting humanity. They were all humans, and they all walked on the earth, and some of these individuals ascended hundreds of years ago. So it's a process that's been going on. But the opportunity now, what makes this unique, is the timeline is running out, because we are in the final 2,000-year cycle, and of course in cosmic time, 2,000 years is nothing. So that's what makes this unique. In the past, when people ascended to a higher frequency, there was still more earth time for others to choose to do it or not. So it's an individual process.
Well, that's
Does that help?
Yes, that's what I had surmised. I work with the Ascended Masters quite closely a lot of the time, and that's kind of what I was understanding from what they were saying, but then I was getting this assistance from other sources, and so I just wanted to clear it up in case anybody else was having that push-me-pull-you feeling of is it or isn't it. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's set in place, and of course we have to remember it's being predicated by the planet's process. Thus it affects humanity upon the body of the planet. So as you look up into the night sky and you see all those stars, just imagine that they went through a planetary ascension process not unlike our own.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So do we want to talk to another frequency, or is there something else you would like to discuss?
No, I think talking to another frequency would be very apropos right at the moment.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to bring in the Council of Angelic Realms, and there are a lot of people that don't know of this frequency. It's called CAR, Council of Angelic Realms. They are primarily a council who deals with the Angelic Realms of Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Uriel. And Gabriel is like a database of information. Raphael, I think a lot of people know, it's about healing. Uriel is on all the elements of the planet coming together. So and Michael is about moving us from our mind into our heart. Our mental body's moving from our minds into our hearts, our believing minds into our thinking hearts. There are other archangelics involved, but I think for the sake of simplification, let's just focus on those four. And let me bring them in for a moment here. Just give me a second. Greetings, beloved Earthlings. We come to you from the Archangelic Realms, called Kara in your languages. At this auspicious time of you all waking up to the reality of becoming and being multidimensional, which is your divine destiny and right, dear ones. Beloved human beings, as your spiritual DNA and higher chakras are now being activated once again through the process you call Ascension, if you so choose, we once again wish to come to you and directly connect with higher frequencies, vibrational realms from which you came. we who maintain and sustain you at present, whether you are aware of us or not, has been recently revealed to you and explained to you once again through these ascension energies that are coming into your planet, through the star seeds and other higher realms as well. You are being configured, your DNA and your chakra system, raising it to a higher frequency of existence, allowing it to connect more freely with the higher frequency from which you came. What your scientists have called your junk DNA, which is your true energetic connection to your higher self, is now allowing the reactivations of your 8 through 12 chakras. At present, you have been facilitating within 7 chakras, which coordinate with the 12 star systems that seeded your planet. So you're moving from 7 to 12 through this star seed activation, which you've just shared recently. Not to overload you with too much star data at this time, please know that each star system brings a monadic priority to the diversity within your planet and humanity's soul plans. What's wonderful about this particular year, your year of 2016, is each one of those star seeds will reveal itself more fully and rightly within your monthly calendar. There is no planet in the universe with your diversity of star systems, dear ones. Your divine experiment of diversity, learning to love itself. Are you aware of that? Are you aware that love is the building block of all that there is? And it is so much more than an emoted human feeling, dear ones. Your higher DNA and chakras were originally deactivated from the past abuse and disconnection of higher realms. As recently been explained to you, your previous golden ages came to their demise as a result of their disconnect by the human mind believing and thinking it could do it a better way. We are one unified field, dear ones, of oneness. Now you are being given the opportunity to permanently, key word, dear ones, permanently reconnect to the higher realms to manifest your final golden age. So we ask you, dear ones, as you hear this message, what do you choose? What do you resonate with through how you feel about it through your hearts? And how do you discern in using your discernment through your mental body? Does this message resonate for you? Does it discern for you, dear ones? What all this growth and expansion with your DNA and chakras means is that you are reconnecting with dimensions, higher realms above and below, where you mostly reside now, whether you're aware of it or not. There are many light workers and wayshowers showing the way by being their message and allowing higher realms connections through guidance. Dear ones, the key words there are being your message. There are many messengers who are not being their message. They have a public persona and a private persona, which are different. It is time to check in with yourselves, if you so choose, and ask yourselves, as you bring your talents and gifts out into the world, your teachings, your missions, your shows, your workshops, your writings, your books, when you're not being those messages, are you being it outside of that? There is nothing special about anyone connecting or channeling with higher realms at this time. If anyone says to you, dear ones, that they are special, that they are the guru, that they are the way, we ask you to use your discernment and resonance. It is your divine right, dear ones, to connect with us. You don't need to be certified. You don't need to pay. You don't need someone to teach you how. There can be those of you who can assist you in the process. The channel that we're coming through now had no one teach him. He chose and was chosen through his divine soul plan to be who he is at this time. If these individuals say that you must go through them, or that they insist they are the true one and the only path to truth, again, dear ones, use your internal gyro system, your resonance discernments, to move away from them if you so choose. You have been gifted a freedom of choice and freedom of will in addition to resonance, how you feel about it, and discernment. This is your internal gyro system, which will allow you to know whether to go straight on the path or to turn left or to turn right. Dear ones, master teachers do not call themselves masters. They simply recreate themselves. Be cautious of anyone who asks you to follow or worship the guru. Your higher selves reside within you and are patiently waiting to awaken within you, dear ones. There are individuals such as Channel and many others that were coming through at this time that can show you the way and allow you to know that it is a simple process of simply choosing to connect with the higher frequencies, that it is your divine right. Again, the key element within the concept of master, be it teacher or otherwise, is those individuals will be fervent in recreating themselves. Pay attention to that. The ones that you're resonating, discerning with, are they duplicating themselves, or are they saying they are special? Your ascension process has always been and always will be a process of inside out, which has been discussed, not outside in. Your religions have taught you often it's a process of outside in. It is not. Your divinity, your Christ consciousness, your I am present lies within you. And you access it through your freedom of choice and freedom of will, which, dear ones, no one can take away from you. There have been many advanced civilizations in your past and your pre-recorded past that have tried. They cannot. You all eventually get there. It's just a matter of when and how. And as has been explained to you, the when is coming down into your final 2,000-year cycle at this time, beginning in 2012. Now, dear ones, each of you has fragments within your soul plans, which will allow you to resonate with specific higher frequencies as essential aspects of your soul plan. You will each connect, if you will, with the frequency, the conscious that best serves your highest good and needs. The channel that we're coming through is a disseminator of information. So this divine soul connects with frequencies that give you the type of information you're being given now on this particular program. This event is a divine union that only you can choose or not. Once you choose it, you're chosen, dear ones. So there's a process, dear ones, through your freedom of choice and freedom of will to choose, to declare it, I am, and follow that by a sentence. And then the frequencies connect and choose you. You choose and you are chosen. Again, dear ones, beware of anyone, especially your mental body or others, may attempt to sabotage the entire process by telling you you're not good enough or worthy enough to receive such connections. Or others may tell you this goes against all established beliefs and truths. Dear ones, thank your mental body, your ego, housed within your mental body, for sharing, and ask it to please shut up. Well, a belief from the mental body often changes, but dear ones, remember, a truth only lives within your knowing hearts, not outside yourself. You have many erroneous belief systems housed within your mental bodies, but your knowing hearts contain a wisdom, an Akashic record, if you will, a hall of wisdom, if you will, that you're learning to think and access with. Take a deep breath, dear ones. This is a lot of information for some of you. Let's take a deep breath. Release yourself from yourselves and know, dear ones, what you're about to receive is not about you, dear ones. Allow yourself to become connected to another multidimensional aspect of itself and become a vessel of it. You're finally realizing you're here to be in world service. To one another, self first, then others, then source, then creation, and then who you call God. This service can only be achieved from your divine self-love reflecting out. That is why the relationship with self and the healing of that relationship is so key. And you may have heard in your past, the only relationship you're having is the one with yourself. And beginning to understand the significance of that phrase. Dear ones, all your so-called inventions and advancements as a species are the result of higher realms connecting. Your brains didn't think this up. Your brains simply received. They did not create. It is the unconditional love of the higher realms that makes all of this possible. These frequencies came through at certain evolutionary points within your history to allow you to advance of the discovery of electricity, the discovery of certain elements which were harmful to the human condition, mathematics, frequency and vibrational sciences that allow the construction of temples and pyramids that you cannot even duplicate at this time. It is your divine right to recapture this when you evolve and raise your consciousness to a level to be able to permanently receive it. If you received it prematurely and it fell into the wrong, corrupted human hands, they would have tried to destroy the planet again, and that has happened. That is what happened on your Atlantis, dear ones. They had the advanced technology to destroy the world, so they themselves were destroyed before that could take place. So take another deep breath, dear ones. And begin to know and realize who you really are as multidimensional beings, having this human experience, and begin to accept with compassion that true wisdom, not knowledge, comes from higher realms. You're beginning to accept it as an essential aspect of yourself. Dear ones, wisdom is applied knowledge. You have a lot of knowledge in your world. But where are you being wise? Where are you applying it? Dear ones, you know that war doesn't work. You know that killing one another isn't the answer. But you're still highly involved in this at this particular time. But it is the wild beast trapped in the corner, dear ones, growling and howling its last hurrah. You're more glorious and amazing than your minds ever imagined or conceived, dear ones. Once you truly know this, you will receive and create a world that reflects this truth. A world of equality, harmony, and balance. And then you know who you truly are, dear ones. We would like to end at this time by reading a poem that the channel we're coming through now received. Dear ones, it is called Taking Your Power Back. Once upon a time, through the abuse of your power, you lost your power in order to regain it in a new hour, now. You were connected to all there is, but that wasn't enough. Through freedom of will and choice, you thought your minds could make a better choice. For eons in your mind field, you've learned a lot about what is through what is not. Now the mind is returning to the heart, and you are ready to start a new start. Let yourselves reconnect and connect and correct to all that there is in effect. Only through a renewed true connection can you connect your forgetfulness and create heartfelt consciousness. Once awake, you shall remember who you are, why you are here, and take your power back and never throw it back as the true divine being you are, dear ones. Are there any questions at this time?
No, I don't believe so. Thank you.
Then we shall leave you. I'm back.
Hi. That was wonderful. I think those were words that a lot of us really needed to hear. And as he spoke, I got a vision of the lotus flower. And I've heard this analogy before, but it resonated even higher and deeper with me as he spoke, because the lotus flower, for those of you who don't know, grows out of the mud at the bottom of the lake. And it struggles through the muck and the mire and all the restraints to grow up through the water and into the air and light, and that's how I feel like we're doing right now with all of this ascension.
Oh, Chessie, that's a beautiful image. It's a beautiful image. And I'm also getting the caterpillar to the butterfly. You know, all these transformations, these transmutations that we're going through, and the most important thing I get from all this to realize it's a process of inside out. That no matter how horrible things may appear in the world, with all of the, the political drama we're involved in now, the separation, the duality, and the confrontation that's being created, that's not who we truly are. That in spite of our wounds and defenses, we can, through knowing who we are and our truth and our needs and setting our boundaries, keep supporting each other's highest good. This last few weeks I've had some conflicts with some colleagues, and it was that teaching to just look at their wound and their defenses and know that's not them. But at the same time, I have a right to know my truth, my needs, and my boundaries in relationship with them, but to still be able to support their highest good if they need it, in spite of that action. Truth needs boundaries. There's our tools to allow us to go forward and to protect ourselves from others' wounds and defenses, but allowing to knowing on some divine level that we're all one and that our higher selves do exist, and then we can't lose hope. And that lotus or that caterpillar, we can just keep seeing it transmuting into something glorious.
That we all are one has become extremely important as, well, personally I'm speaking from here, as I have realized and understood and awakened more and more. And it's an ongoing process. You don't just wake up one day and there you are. I had someone ask me, well, are you fully realized? I said, well, no, I'm still here, so I'm still learning and growing. But one of the things I've been doing is studying the Tao Te Ching. And as I was reading it the other day, a poem just manifested, and I was just had to write it down. And it's, I am all of you. You are all of me. We are one together. We are all of we.
As long as we're in this 3D process, which that poem so beautifully and eloquently and simply states, we will be in a personal process. And the work that we do at the Angel News Network, we have a life mastery program from Archangel Michael through Trans-Channel Jeff Fasano. I mean, they're just giving us this, concept of self being a reflection of all that there is. They're just giving us the tools to heal self so that we can individually ascend, that we don't have to wait for anybody else. It can be an individual choice through freedom of choice and freedom of will, that it becomes the most important aspect of our being. And that's why people, that's why you and I connect, or people connect with your show, or people connect with all the events and the websites that we have on the Angel News Network, or the social media that we put out every day through the resonance and discernment. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
One of the things that I was told when I first started my, I call it my true upward movement, was when I first connected to the Ascended Masters and to my higher guidance. I asked one time, and my longtime listeners know this and probably are tired of hearing it, but it's so true. And I asked of these wonderful guidances, what do we need to do to progress on our path? What do we need to do as a species? And basically they told me, love one another, forgive one another, and tolerate one another.
Which is a state of beingness, not doingness.
Absolutely. And that's what I have come to realize, just exactly what you said. It isn't something that we do. It is just something that we are. And I get a lot of funny looks from people these days when I don't react the way they think I should because of this state of being. But it's all right, because it's that way-showing thing that was discussed earlier.
And we all find each other. I mean, you and I found each other, and we all just connect. I think it's a grand reunion. I think we've all are now reconnecting with a process that began in past lives, and we're continuing now. And because of the gift of communication and transportation being better than it's ever been, we're able to more fully connect. When that Uriel came through years and years ago, I was working for George Lucas. I was director of marketing for that empire, and we were inventing all of this technology, and I didn't really understand what it all meant. And now I look back on it, or I look back on the Star Wars stories that George did, and I really realized that all this stuff is true. These places really exist. And this was channeled material. And that, we were preparing ourselves for the invention of, or the acceptance of cyberspace to be able to connect on the level that we're connecting. Of course, there are many forces trying to corrupt and control it, but I think people are wising up.
I have really enjoyed watching that wising up. As I stand back and look and listen and read and comments and things on Facebook and all these other social media, people are starting to catch on. People are starting to understand.
They're waking up, aren't they?
Yes, and it's glorious to see. I had a friend who used to tell me, it's not my job to wake up the world, it's just my job to wake myself up. And I think that's just the crux of the matter. As we do allow ourselves to wake up and stop fighting the process and going with the flow, so to speak, things start to happen spontaneously and effortlessly and
with grace and ease.
Yes, and the connections are just so wonderful. And I love it when I have these light bulb moments that sometimes are candles and sometimes are floodlights, but they're starting to, well, for a while they were amazing. Oh, my goodness, I understand something. But now it's just, oh, cool, I've got another one. When I was young, we used to live in Morocco, and our housekeeper didn't speak English very well, but she was a delightful woman, and she always, when she understood something, she would tell us, I compris me one more. Compris means understand. And that's kind of how I feel about this. I compris me one more. And they're getting larger and closer together, but less jolting than they were when they started.
I call it the new normal.
Yeah, I like it. I'm guessing then that made sense to you then.
I think it did. Hey, I have spent quite a bit of time in Morocco, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, we'll have to have another chat about that another time.
Yes, we will.
It's quite a country.
A few more minutes. Could I ask you to talk about some of the physical things that we're running into as this process occurs within us? I hear a lot of people complaining about aches and pains and this and that and the other, and I know I have days when gravity just seems extremely dense around me and I can't pick up anything without dropping it 4 times. And I think if we kind of understood how these processes that we've been talking about and these energies that have been discussed are affecting us physically, it might be helpful.
Yeah, it's very important that we drink pure water, and a lot of our water is no longer pure, so that we filter it as best we can, and that we eat live organic food, and that we get out into nature as much as we can so that we're connecting with the frequency of the planet herself. Because as we're moving from a carbon-based reality, a density, if you will, to a lighter frequency, there is a letting go process that begins in the emotional body, that creates an emotion, that creates a thought, that creates an imbalance of how the energy moves within the body, which creates the physical symptoms and sometimes even what we call dis-ease. And so just to be conscious of that and to work with people who understand what's happening, and whenever the symptoms appear, there are things that we can be and do to alleviate them. I know in the mornings when I'm hit with these energies, I realize that sometimes I just have to rest and I'll lay down, and that allows me to escape the 3D to go into the astral psychic 4D when I sleep. And of course, that's when we go. That's where we go when so-called physical death. And then from there, I can go on into the 5th, then to the 5D, and it gives me a respite from the process. So that can be done through meditation. It can be done through prayer. It can be done through many breathing techniques that help alleviate some of these. And a lot of people are being affected by mobility issues. It goes into the joints and things. But having an understanding of how energy moves and what impedes it through the emotions and thoughts is very, very helpful. So when it happens, then we don't glom on to, oh, I have cancer, I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have whatever, somebody want to label it, and allow us to be with it and to move through it as a process by being conscious of it, is how I would respond to that.
I think that's very good advice. I have end-stage osteoarthritis, which is an offshoot of rheumatoid arthritis that I had when I was a child. And when it's, I'm going to say bad because I don't have another word. Oh, let's change that. When it's challenging for me, I do just exactly what you said. I go into a deep meditation, and I thank my body for its messages, but I ask it to relax and just allow the healing to move through. And within just a very few minutes, it's manageable again.
There are mornings I can't walk very well, and I have to go through that process. It's like the universe is teaching me or insisting that I learn a way, as you just described, to, in effect, heal myself in order to move through that rather than rushing off to an arthritic doctor or something and going on some drug that may have a side effect that compounds the problem, allowing you that healing is a process inside out. Archangel Gabriel, and I have it in one of my books called Activate Your Soul Plan, and then in Joel Anastasia's book, The Second Coming, Archangel Gabriel Proclaims a New Age, there are chapters in there that totally explain through the Archangelic Realm of Gabriel, and we can do a separate show on that sometime if you want, exactly how the emotions affect the thoughts that affects the flow of energy, and how these bands of consciousness trap certain aspects of the body and create certain diseases. And I've been blessed that people are allowing me to go into hospitals and medical teaching facilities and actually teaching this. And they're becoming more and more open of understanding the relationship of emotions and thoughts to our physicality and the creation of what we call disease. And then working in concert in integrated comprehensive medicine with these individuals, it's great. I think they're more and more realizing they're not really healing anything, they're just treating a symptom.
Yeah.
So we have to deal with their egos and, not say we have the only path, but that we have a way of integrating some energetic wisdom into the process.
I think that what we were told about the ego was really good advice. I've been doing that for years. Thank you for your input, but now please sit down and be quiet.
Yeah. I mean, I won't use the F word, but there's sometimes whenever it's coming through, I remember when I first started channeling, my ego came and said, oh, you're making all this up. This can't be true. I just said, shut the fuck up.
Well, sometimes you just have to do that because as we start to awaken and we start to get all these messages, we do. It's
true.
I think we're losing our mind. And we do wonder if we're making stuff up. And one of our biggest challenges, one of mine, was to sit back and just allow it to happen and listen and tell that ego to be quiet because we are taught so diligently to listen to that and nothing else. Well,
we're taught that our mind has all the answers. I have a new book coming out called Divine Discussion, speaking directly, Higher Realm speaking directly to us is the subtitle. And in it, they deal with a lot of this stuff. And all I'm trying to do with the 7 books that I've written is just say, hey, we're all, this is who we really are. We're all capable of this, and here's some information, and if it resonates and you discern with applying it, do it, and if you don't. And that's how I deal with it. And I like to use humor in it, too, because if we begin taking this stuff too seriously, it just becomes too overbearing.
I put a Silly for Saturday out on Facebook and my other social media places every Saturday because laughter is so healing and laughter is so liberating. And I've always said that if God's always watching me, I feel it incumbent upon myself to be humorous.
I think we integrate. I know when I teach, I get did a lot of stand-up comic work in college, and And I use a lot of that when I teach because I think whenever we can just start to giggle for a moment, we actually integrate the wisdom more easily. It just sort of goes in and just recognizes, hey, we're all human. We're all getting through this. How can we better love and support one another in the process?
Absolutely.
And humor's a great way to do it.
Well, we're just about at the end of our hour, Phillip. I want to post all of your connections and contact information and everything you want everybody to have. I'll post it on the show when I put it out there. But if you want to tell anybody anything about your books or where to find information or your programs or anything, please do that now.
Yeah, I have a personal website called Phillip Elton, E-L-T-O-N, Phillip with 2 L's, Phillip Elton Collins. I had this famous name, Phil Collins, and I had a twin brother named Bill, so I'd have to use phillipeltoncollins.com. And then we have theangelnewsnetwork.com, and you can click under books, and you'll see all the wonderful books we have, and they're available very inexpensively in e-books or paperback. And then there's just lots of free, wonderful information in there. And if it resonates, subscribe to it, or join us Thursday nights when we do Divine Discussions by teleconference, first and third Thursday of each month at the Center for Spiritual Living. And you have a chance to connect to these frequencies directly and ask them some questions. And, again, my colleagues are Jeff Fasano in Los Angeles and Joel Anastasia. And
Jeff has been on our show before. Some of you may remember. I hope to have you back again.
We just have so many
talented. I love talking to you guys. You're amazing.
We're all amazing.
Yes, we are.
We're all amazing, and we're all here loving and supporting one another, and that part of it I just adore. So I thank everyone for listening, and it's wonderful as always, Chessie, to be with you, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
I want to talk to you on the end of the show, but before I go, I want to thank all of our listeners, just like he said, for joining us for the show and being with us. I love doing this for you guys, and just knowing you're out there listening just thrills me to pieces. If you'd like to,
and we love you, gal.
Yeah, thank you. If you'd like to send a question or suggestion for a topic that you would like covered on the show, please send your question, your suggestion, or your request to me at letter E, letter O, letter S, number 4, and the word me at ymail.com. Or for the time being, you can send it to me at Chessie@ChessieRoberts.com. You can find all of my information and all of my classes and programs and everything at ChessieRoberts.com. My music that you hear at the opening and closing of the show, you can find on ArchersMeadow.com. And in my book, Evolving into Self, From the Puppet to the Master, My Evolution from the Cradle to the Grid is on Amazon as an ebook. So thanks again for listening. Please come back anytime to hear Get on the Grid with Chessie Roberts. Have a great time until I see you and talk to you again. Bright blessings. Bye-bye.